Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another day of FRIZZMAS. Today is part 2 of my collab with Ashley from over at Dr. Ash and her makeup. Yesterday we talked about the worst makeup releases, and today we're going to talk about the best. So if that sounds good to you, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think, and if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with someone that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So I will have Ashley's video linked in the description box. If you do not follow her, please head over to her video after you watch this one. You will love her. If you love eyeshadow, especially indie eyeshadow, and you like colorful looks, seeing multiple looks with a palette, then you're gonna love Ashley's page. So definitely check her out. So this one was hard. It was really easy for me to pick out the worst releases, but really tough for me to pick out the best. Now, I sat and thought about this because we're only supposed to choose like 5. And I don't want to confuse this video with like best of beauty, because I'm gonna do a best of beauty for 2022 because there are a lot of products that I really, really like, but I didn't know anything about a launch or release. It was just something maybe I saw another content creator use or something that I just stumbled upon. So I do want to do a best of beauty video where I talk about the best products in every category. So that'll be coming more towards the end of the year. What I decided to do with this video is think about launches that I was kind of anticipating that actually lived up to the hype for me. And there are not many. That's the crazy thing. There are just not many. So I'm just gonna say that you're not gonna see Pat McGrath on here. Even though I love her launches and really enjoy them and anticipate them, they fell flat for me this year. The Mothership 10 and the holiday collection. The actual launch itself was gorgeous, beautifully laid out. And, you know, we were definitely speculating, you know, what she was releasing or what it was gonna look like, but they just didn't live up to the hype for me. So you're not gonna see those in this video. Another launch that I was really anticipating was the launch from Isamaya French and her beauty brand. And she came out with this industrial collection, and the promo for it was just amazing. And that's what led me to look at her YouTube channel and, you know, just learn about who she was. That palette fell flat. I've said it before, I don't know if I had a dud palette, I don't know. It's just a really fussy palette. So that's not gonna be on here. I think those are 2 that you might be like, where are they in this list? But you're not gonna see them in this list because they weren't the best for me. Let's go ahead and get started. I really tried to narrow this down. And as I said, if there's anything that you know I talk about a lot, it will be in the best of beauty video. Right now, I'm thinking about the launch, something that I was like, ooh, when that comes out, I think I'm gonna try that. Not the surprise sleepers. You'll see all of that towards the end of the year in best of beauty. There were several sleeper releases that I'm so glad I tried, and I definitely will be highlighting those in another video. So let's get started. Now, I'm not discussing these in any particular order, but I think this one is probably the earliest release. This is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I tried Major Dimension 1 and I sold it. I was not into it. I wasn't even really into neutrals at that time. I thought the mattes were really nice, but the shimmers I just wasn't really sure about. And the color story, they were browns, you know, and I wasn't as into neutrals the way that I am now. When I saw that this palette was releasing, I was intrigued because I like these cream shades and I did like the mattes, but the shimmers looked a bit better. The ones in the first palette, a couple of them, they say that they're shimmers, but they're kind of not. I don't know what they are. The shimmers are a little bit different. There's some good ones in there, but not like this one. Now, these shimmers, I won't say that they're fussy, but I prefer to use them with brushes because when I do go to swatch them, they do get a little hard panty. However, I think the shimmers in this palette are way better than the ones in the first one, and I love the gradient. It might be the layout for me, but I really do enjoy that. For me, it makes the looks easy to see, and that's really what I've needed lately. So here are 4 of the shimmers, and I just think these are really well done shimmers. I like that he encourages having texture on the lids, and I wasn't into textured lids either. I was all about like the smoothness, you know, so that was another thing about me that was different then with the Major Dimension 1 palette and what I'm into now. So let's just show you these shimmers up close. These 2 are really smooth, and then like these have a bit of sparkle to them that's really nice. Now, we've all seen these shades before, but there's something about the layout and how it's monochromatic that really appeals to me because it makes it really easy to use. I didn't have any issues with creasing with the cream shades, and they make a very nice eyeshadow base or primer for whatever look that you're gonna create. I've liked every look that I've made with this palette. So I was anticipating this launch, was kind of on the fence about it because of, you know, my previous experience, but I am glad that I took a chance and purchased this one because when I think about standout releases, this is one of them, and it has been all year. All right, moving on. The next one is from Hourglass. Now, when I found out that Hourglass was releasing a foundation, although I did not need any foundations, I automatically knew that I wanted it. It is the Ambient Foundation, Soft Glow Foundation. And one of the things about Hourglass, and I hadn't had a wide range of Hourglass products until now. I have a much better range. The ambient powders are some of the best powders to me. It's such a natural, glowy finishing powder, and it's one that looks good when all of these lights are off. And I think that's really important because I have gotten close up on people, like people that work at Sephora or Ulta, or just, you know, people with makeup, and you can see the powder on the face, and I don't want to look like that. That's just not what I'm trying to do. And I think Hourglass has found like the magic formula to have a finishing powder that is very natural. So when I found out they were coming out with a foundation, I was like, this is probably going to be really nice. It's probably not going to be super dewy or super matte. It's just going to give a soft glow, and that's what it does. Now, I have the shade 11. I am wearing it now, and what I will say about this one is that a little bit goes a long way. I don't know how long it is going to take me to use up this bottle, but I mean, the finish on this foundation is really nice. Now, I do have a couple dewy products on as well, but it works very well with all of the makeup that I wear, and I have been really happy with this one. This one and probably Lisa Eldridge are my favorites by far this year, and I will talk about Lisa Eldridge in my Best of Beauty video because that's the other foundation that I really have come to love. I was anticipating this launch. I wasn't so much anticipating the Lisa Eldridge when I was still getting on the train. So this one, I was looking for it and really happy that I went ahead and tried it out. Next, I have 2 lip products from Dior, and these are definitely favorites. So I'll start with the one you know I'm gonna talk about, the Dior Addict Lip Shines. Oh my gosh, I'm actually wearing bandana right now, and I have to throw it away because I washed it. I was trying to hold on to it, but that happened with patchwork as well, and now I'm gonna have to reorder both of them. Bandana is just a everyday, almost like natural lip pigment shade, and it's going in the trash, sadly. I love the denim case. I have one of the other fabric cases. These are very hydrating. They smell fruity, but not too fruity. I mean, if any smell bothers you, you're not gonna want this because it does have a smell. But I love the way these feel on the lips, and they add just the right amount of tint and pigment, even with the deeper shades. So it just gives like nice shine, and I just fell in love with them. I fell in love with them so much, I carry them around with me and forget to take them out of my pockets before I put my clothes in the washing machine. That's how much, but I need to not do that because they are not cheap products. I did purchase these at the Sephora sale, and you can also find them for 15% off often, like at Macy's and things like that. So I really like these a lot. Just be careful because when they do come out with new shades, sometimes they look really close to the originals. So, you know, if you are purchasing these, just make sure you look at the colors that you have so you're not repeating yourself. Another product that Dior launched this year has some very bold claims. And these were the Rouge Dior Forever lipsticks, and these claimed to be transfer proof. I do have a video on these. They are transfer proof. I have 4 of them. They come in a matte package, unlike the other ones that have more of like a shiny package. But these are matte transfer proof lipsticks. I think they take about 3 minutes to set down, and they will not move. Even the deepest shade that I had did not move. They are not over drying. They have nice pigment, and I was really happy to find these. I know that people aren't wearing masks as much, but there are a lot of people wearing masks to work. You know, when I go to the doctor's office, I have to wear a mask. I wear masks on the airplane. You know, if you need something that's transfer proof, these definitely did the job. I was really happy. I was really happy with this launch, and I was so curious were they gonna live up to the claims, and they did. So yes for these. All right, this next product honestly caught my attention because there was some controversy with it, and I was kind of just looking at this brand and another brand, just trying to figure out what's going on. This is the Natasha Denona High-Gen Skin Glass Energizing and Hydrating Primer Serum, and the issue was the use of the word skin glass. Now, at the time, Natasha Denona said that she was going to be removing skin glass from the bottles, but this is my second bottle, and I'm not sure how much was made in advance, but she said that she was going to remove that from the newer batches. I don't know if that's true or not. The brand, I can't remember what the brand is. Is it Skin Glass Beauty? She has a product called Skin Glass as well, but it's different than this. But I can see why the brand owner was upset, because it's confusing, especially if you don't pay attention to the smaller brands. I do, so I went to support her and also see like what were the differences. So as I said, I do have the Skin Glass, and that is something that you can mix with foundation, like to kind of give you that dewy effect. This one is a primer, a makeup primer, and it's pretty much the only primer that I've used since I've gotten it. I mean, I also have my Tatcha sunscreen primer that I use, but I love this stuff. It has kind of a pearlescent finish, and I believe you put this on before you put on your moisturizer. I put it on after, but this is the finish that it leaves before you put your makeup on, and I definitely feel that this shines through. Now, this dewiness that you see right here is from the Elevated Glow from Lisa Eldridge, which will be in my Best of Beauty video, because that was something I think that launched last year, and I just wanted to try it out. So wasn't anything I was looking forward to or anticipating, but I was interested in this product, and I have come to really like it. I like the Skin Glass too, but this is used in a different way. So yes to this. It just makes your skin just look beautiful. And there are times where I will put this on and then my concealer and just a little powder and just keep going. That's kind of what I do for work now. So it really leaves your skin with a very fresh look, and I love this stuff. I know y'all are like, where's the eyeshadow? It's not as much eyeshadow as you would think, because I was disappointed with so much this year. So much. Let's continue talking about Pat McGrath. So Pat McGrath had a launch of blush duos. When this launch came, I think many of us were hoping that they were going to be bronzers or maybe bronzer highlighters or something like that, because she already had her huge blush launch last year, which was one of the best launches. Oh my gosh, one of the best. But she came out with the blush duos and I passed on all of them. There were some that I really liked. There was one that I really wanted, and I did end up getting that one because they went on sale for like 31 bucks. And it has been in my like makeup basket, the one that I use like all the time. It just stays there, and it's replaced my Desert Orchid, which was my previous favorite. This is Paradise Glow. This is what I have on right now. Usually when I wear Paradise Glow, I don't wear it with a bronzer. It reminds me a bit of like a sunburned type look, and it is just so good, y'all. So this is Paradise Glow, and then this is Desert Orchid. And the issue was that Paradise Glow was the only one that had a repeat shade in it, which was Desert Orchid. But they are two different blushes, and I'll show you what they both look like. I'm gonna mix both shades of Paradise Glow. So there's Desert Orchid, there's Paradise Glow. So Desert Orchid, Paradise Glow. Beautiful. I thought this was a mix of Desert Orchid and Paradise Venus, but it's not, and this is just my favorite. I can put this on with pretty much any look and it's going to work. You know, sometimes if I'm doing certain looks, you know, you need more of a red tone, or certain looks you may need more of a pink tone type blush. This one to me works with all of the looks that I do for the most part, and you can build this up and look even more like sunburn. You could just put on a little bit and it looks like you were just in the sun just a little too long. You know, I love this one so much, and this was kind of a sneaky favorite, because again, I did anticipate the launch. When I saw it, I was like, I'm just gonna wait on these, and then I caught it on sale. These went down to $25, by the way. All right, I'm gonna show you one more face palette, and then the rest will be the rest of the eyeshadow palettes. It's really not much, sadly. But let's talk about the Hourglass Tiger palette. To me, this was the best palette out of all three of the holiday palettes. I just feel like in the past, Hourglass holiday palettes can start looking very similar. So this is the first Hourglass holiday palette that I have, and that I, you know, really paid attention to because of these tones. Because Hourglass has finally tried to get on the good foot and do the right thing with their shades. Can they do better? Yes. This Tiger palette, I felt like was good because for me, we had the bronzer, I got the 2 highlighters and the 3 blushes. It had 4 out of 6 new shades. The Elephant palette had the best setting powders, but the blushes were a lot alike. The Butterfly had the best blushes, but I didn't need those setting powders. And the bronzer in the Elephant palette is a bit weak. So this one worked out the best. These shades, like the blushes, are so beautiful. Hourglass has some of the best blushes, period. And I've been saying that. That At Night blush, Sublime Flush, those are 2 of my favorite blushes in my entire collection. They have been up there for over a year now, and I absolutely love them. I absolutely love these. And as I said, this shade here, although it's a setting powder for someone with a richer tone, makes such a good bronzer for me. And then you have the 2 highlighters, the one regular one and then the strobe. So this was great. I really was excited about these palettes. this is the one I was the most excited about. I think that it would be nice next year if they had consistent powders in each palette, or you could customize them. But I think each palette should have come with a bronzer. Each palette should have come with a setting powder. Each palette could have come with a highlighter and 2 blushes. You know what I mean? And then the blushes that they picked could have been different. So instead of the butterfly palette having 2 coral blushes and the elephant having 2 pink, they could have a pink and a coral. You know what I'm saying? Or a pink and an orange. Like this one right here, this shade. So this next brand is an indie brand. I'm gonna show you a bunch of palettes, but overall I'm talking about the launch. Hi, August. How are you feeling? Okay, August is on the mend. Hey, tell them that you're feeling better. Everybody was saying, wait, they can't see you.
I'm feeling better.
But we're going to stay home from school tomorrow just to make sure.
We might go to school tomorrow.
No.
After that day tomorrow.
Tuesday. And then hopefully he'll be able to attend the Christmas party. Because they're having.
Tell him about it.
You tell them about it. It's your party. What's Hard Barb doing for y'all?
You need to stop saying that in videos.
Oh, you think she's gonna see it? Oh.
I did that out.
You told people? August teacher, they're supposed to be having what? Pancakes, bacon?
Sausage.
Oh, sausage. And they're wearing, are y'all wearing pajamas? What are y'all doing?
I don't know. Can you ask her?
I'll find out. That's if your school doesn't close, because apparently everybody's sick. The teachers, the students, they're talking about they just might close for the week. Who does that? Who said that?
Me. Can you put drink in the video?
One time we can. Okay, but not right now.
I thought you were going to say no.
I want to talk about Tammy Tanuka and her eyeshadow launches. And I want to talk about just how she reveals the palette and how long it takes. So I think some palettes have taken a year or maybe more to reveal. So I really didn't understand how her palettes work. August wants to put Mr. Tyrone's snake in one of the videos.
You're going to be no.
Okay, so navigating the Tammy Tanuka or Sigil inspired website can be tough, you know what I mean? And you know, I had to learn, but I would always see Makeup Release Radar post her reveals of the shades. So every so often a palette would get a shade. So it would be like these eggs. And then once the shades were revealed, the egg would hatch. I can't remember how it goes now because I stopped looking at the Tammy Tanuka releases. Some of you have asked why we can't purchase from Tammy Tanuka. Tammy Tanuka is a Russian brand, and due to the climate over in Russia, they are not accepting any US payments. So that's why. So I really cherish these palettes that I have. I enjoyed and really anticipated the releases of these palettes or the reveals because, you know, you would only get one shade at a time, and then you would be wondering like, what's the color story going to be? Because I think you would know the animal. So like this is the Toad palette.
What animal?
Right here. Knowing that this was the Toad, you know, you might get a feel for the type of color story. So it was just really exciting to see, and you would see the other palettes that she had coming, but all of the like spots for the shadows would be kind of grayed out, and then the shadows would be revealed, and those were just always so fun to see. Right when Russia stopped accepting payments from the US, I want to say there were like 4 or 5 palettes that, you know, were going to be revealed, like these animals, and I don't know if they've been revealed yet or not. I think some of them are still slowly but surely being revealed shade by shade because it takes time. So this is the snake palette, and I love that you had the option of getting these small palettes because these small palettes are what I need in my life, and the quality is just excellent. I've talked about Tammy Tanuka in my eyeshadow ranking video, so I'm not gonna go into a whole bunch of detail. This is the Chinchilla palette. And then what else do I have? I have the Peacock palette. And then, yes, so actually, so here's the card. And so you see the egg here, and then like the egg hatches, and then you get the color story in the palette. So I probably have the details of this a bit wrong, but I think you can see how these launches can be exciting and how you can really anticipate, you know, or wonder what she's going to come out with. And then the last palette that I purchased that I dropped and had to repair is the Black Glove. This was the last one, and she had emailed me and Ash and, you know, everybody that was trying to get the palette, and she's like, I can't send it through UPS, I can do rush and post. And then one day it just showed up and I was like, yes, my palette. So I did drop this and shatter all of the shades. So these are very special, they can be very delicate. So, you know, I need to keep them. I keep them with my Tom Fords actually now, because they're just as good, if not better, than Thomas. I do want to try to look at her newest releases and see if I could somewhat dupe the color stories. I think it may be really tough to do that because her shades are very special and very unique, but a girl can try, because the color stories that she comes up with are just, they're just beautiful. That's all I can say. So I stopped torturing myself with, you know, looking at reveals. Torture. I stopped torturing myself with looking at reveals of palettes that I just can't get. So I'm gonna take a look though and see. But next I have the Warms My Blood palette from Unearthly Cosmetics, and as soon as I saw my girl Aaliyah on here, I was so excited. Like, she had 4 palettes, but this is the one, like when she said we could choose, I was like, I want this one. Like, the other color stories, they're nice, they're very nice, but I didn't care what this had in the inside. I was just so happy to see this Queen of the Damned inspired palette. And I really loved everything about this palette, the layout. I loved that these were not the hard pressed shimmers that Unearthly has been doing, because those are not my favorite. I just want them to always do their original shimmers. I think this color story is so good. I just like that it's warm and cool, and for the most part all of the mattes have a shimmer to go with it. Sadly, this shade has dried out, and I do need to email Amanda about it, because the other shades did not do that, and I was gonna edit that out of my video where I discovered that the shade was dry, and I'm glad that I didn't, because a lot of people reached out to me and said that the same thing happened with their shades, and I don't think in just this palette. So I am going to email her and see if I can get a replacement, because this is a very beautiful kind of bronzy antique gold, and I don't want to not have that in the palette. I'm just not sure why that shadow dried out, or what was different in this formula that it dried like that, because there's no salvaging this shade. But I still just wanted to mention this because it is a really nice palette. It's just that it's a newer palette and the shade should not be drying out. But as far as the performance of the palette and the looks, I do have a video on this. I absolutely loved the performance of this palette, and it lived up to the hype for me. The launch was, I think, creative. You know, when Halloween comes, we do see a lot of Beetlejuice and things like that. So she did have that. But this one, Warms My Blood, so creative. This was different. I've not seen a palette with Aaliyah as an inspo, so she definitely gets kudos for that. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous. This palette was a yes all the way around. I didn't want to exclude it because of the dried up shade, because this palette performs beautifully. So, you know, things happen, and I haven't had any issues with any of the shades doing that in any of my Unearthly palettes, even my oldest palettes. Oh, if you're wondering where Marky is, he's at my mom's because he has a doctor's appointment tomorrow, in case you're wondering why he doesn't pop up tonight. As I said, no problems with shades drying up, even from my oldest palettes from Unearthly. So just have to see what's going on with this one shade. The next 2 launches are both from Adept. So the first one, and I'm sure you know that I'm going to include this palette, is the Heather Austin palette. When I saw this palette sneak peeked, I already knew that I wanted it. When I saw that it was with Heather Austin, I just had a really good feeling that the color story was going to be something that I was going to like. I'm thinking about my palettes from Adept, and the mattes that are usually chosen, they're not usually my favorites. Ninhydrin had two kind of grungy mattes. Those weren't bad. The Minka palette, I'm still working on my video for that. I love the shimmers and the mattes are great. I just would have picked one different matte, like maybe not that light purple. And then like Kodan had like a green and like a bright pink, and I probably wouldn't have chosen those colors. But I knew Heather Austin was gonna pick mattes that I was going to be able to get with. Heather Austin's the one you said I had more brushes than her. So you have perfect transition shade, perfect deepening shade, a green, which, I mean, who doesn't love green? And then like a mustardy yellow. And I thought those mattes were perfect for the shimmers in this palette. It is a unique color story. I don't have anything like it. And you can see the dent here in the shade Scrubs, because this shimmer is like a putty. And then we have some that are smooth, and then some that have like chunkier flakes. We have beautiful foils, duochromes. I mean, Adept to me is top notch, and I was happy to see this collab. I know that Heather Austin loves Adept Cosmetics, so this was a very natural collaboration.
What did you get her for
and
Christmas?
What did I get her for Christmas? I didn't get her anything for Christmas.
What would you? This Christmas.
Oh, I don't know what I would get Heather Austin. She has so much eyeshadow. Like, she has a lot of eyeshadow.
She has more than you.
She has way more than me.
She Dr. Hatch.
She has way more than Dr. Ash too.
Does Dr. Hatch, do you have more than Dr. Ash?
I probably have more than Dr. Ash because I don't know how to let things go.
Does she let things go?
Yes, she's good at that.
What?
You're asking great questions. I was definitely anticipating the launch when I found out that it was her. And yes, I'm so happy with this palette and the mattes in this one. So I definitely wanted to include that one as a best launch. And from Adept Cosmetics, I have to include House of L. I remember when this was being revealed, she had the whole reel swatching the shades and having like Superman talking in the background. I mean, I was just like, yes, this is so good.
Superman.
The shimmers in this palette are unreal. And these shimmers are different than the other Adept shimmers. And I'm so glad that they brought this palette back, because I think it was supposed to be very limited edition, but I think there was such a demand for this palette. It is phenomenal. The shimmers are phenomenal in this palette. I really anticipated this launch. I was so happy when I saw the color story, and I was glad that it wasn't just like red and blue for Superman. You know what I mean? It was a very interesting take on it, but I can still see Superman in this. So I was really happy, because just the red and blue, I was not gonna really want to wear that. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful.
What's Superman?
I'll explain, but this is a Superman palette. Okay, all right, you guys, we have come down to the last launch that I loved from 2022, and it is the Christmas collection from Odin's Eye. You probably knew I was going to include this because, oh my gosh, like, first of all, this was their first Christmas collection, and you know, when Odin's does their reveals, everything is kind of blurry, but you could kind of see the packaging kind of like this, so you knew one was going to have like this warmer vibe, and then the other one was going to have more of a cool vibe. I just think this collection was well done, well put together. It didn't have a bunch of pieces, so you just knew that there was just a lot of care put into the color story and just the whole launch. I did a separate video for each of these palettes, and I did 3 looks with each. I'm not sure if I would want Odin's Eye to come out with another collection next year. I honestly would want them to restock this one, because a lot of people didn't get their hands on it, and I think it was restocked one time, and then they were basically like, this is going to be it. This is it, and sorry. So it would be awesome if instead of coming out with something new next year, that they would just bring these back. And I really wish a lot more brands would do that. Just bring back what we want. You don't have to give us something new every year, because this formula in these palettes is great. Like, they don't need to do anything but just get the materials, whatever they couldn't get, to restock it again this year. See if you can get that and bring it back next year for those who missed it. They don't even have to wait till Christmas. I'm really sure that people would buy them whenever they had the ability to restock these palettes. They are really excellent palettes, really excellent quality. I love the mattes, even like the lighter pastel-y ones show up really nicely, and the shimmers are beautiful. So that's gonna be it for my favorite launches of 2022. Launches that I really expected to love just fell short. Kaleidos was another one, because their launches and their packaging and everything always looks so spectacular, but what they've come out with this year just didn't really frost my cookies, you know? They just had another launch of lip clays, and I'm just like, it didn't frost my cookies. Like, it just wasn't great. It didn't do it for me. It just wasn't my favorite thing. You know what I'm saying? The launches that I mentioned in this video really gave me that feeling. Once they launched and I saw it and I tried them, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted it to be. So I cannot wait to see what Dr. Ash is going to share. I have a feeling that we're gonna have some different things on our list. So go ahead on over to her channel and see what her best launches were for the year. And I'm gonna end the video here. So thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another day of FRIZZMAS. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. And until I see you again, which is tomorrow, make sure you are being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see you then. Bye.